want to welcome you all to this conference call. I'm looking forward to a great fight on Saturday. Jeff Horn has shown what a great fighter he is, what a strong athlete. Everybody, and there were 5 million people in the United States that watched his fight with Manny Pacquiao. And he is not coming just to make an appearance. He's coming to defend his title, and he's a strong, determined fighter, and I'm looking forward to a great fight.
Thank you, Bob. And now I want to turn the floor over to Jeff Horn's trainer, who's not shy has not been shy in the pre-fight promotion. Glenn Rushing, can you say a few words about how excited Jeff is to make his U.S. debut here in Las Vegas?
Yeah, we're really looking forward to the fight. Obviously, we appreciate everything that Top Rank have done to make this fight happen. We think it's a brilliant fight between two unbeaten fighters. We've got potentially here the fighter in the world that beat the legend Manny Pacquiao against, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. So they're both 30 years of age, both in their prime. I think this is going to be a phenomenal fight on Saturday night, and two terrific unbeaten forces collide here, and it's going to be exciting. So we're looking forward to the fight very much, and we're ready.
Thank you, Glenn. And first off, Jeff, can you just tell us how your preparation's going? I know it's been a long trip from you to get here from Australia to the United States, so just talk about how training's going and how excited you are for this opportunity.
Yeah, look, I've been working very hard in the preparation for this fight. It's been a long preparation, and I think that's worked wonders for us because we've had pretty much a double prep in it. I'm feeling super fit, in the best shape I have been for any fight that I've had in the past, and right now we're just training, starting to taper down for the fight, and just sharpening up the skills and things, ready for a big, massive fight here in Vegas.
Thank you, Jeff. And with that, we turn it over to the operator. We will open it up for questions for the reporters who have joined us here on the conference call.
In order to ask a question, simply press star followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We will pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. And your first question comes from Dan Raphael.
Hello, everybody. It's good to talk to you guys. Jeff, here's a question for you. This fight, of course, your first fight in the United States, and I was wondering, and maybe Glenn could give his input on this question also. How difficult or how hard was it to convince you to come here to the United States to make this fight, as opposed to staying at home where you had the fight with Pacquiao and where you had your first defense against Corcoran?
Look, it wasn't that hard. I guess if the money was right, and it is right for this fight, we're always thinking that we're going to go over to America anyway, and have a fight. So why not now? And it wasn't like we were trying to stay in just Australia and fight. We know we need to fight all around the world to build my reputation.
Glenn, do you have any thoughts about how tough it was to get this fight done to come here to the States? And your general thoughts about fighting, of having Jeff fight this fight in the United States?
Yeah, no, it wasn't that tough at all. Jeff has always travelled all around the world. As an amateur, he fought all over the world. We've been repeatedly as a professional going over to New Zealand to fight. We're very used to travelling. We know how to travel. We can adapt quickly into different time zones. So no, it's for us, it's not a problem. We anticipated it would take us 3 or 4 days to settle in properly and get Jeff back to his very best. He's now back to his very best. So, yeah, no, we're good to go come Saturday night. This is going to be a heck of a fight.
Glenn, when did you guys get here? How soon before the fight?
We arrived last Wednesday.
Okay, gotcha. Jeff, one other question for you. Obviously, your big fight win, your biggest fight of your career so far has been the victory against Manny Pacquiao. I wonder if you've ever thought to yourself, which would be bigger, will the Pacquiao fight always be number one to you, given the crowd and the stakes and the title and the whole thing being at home? Or would you, in some ways, if you beat Crawford on Saturday, would this be a bigger win for you? How do you weigh them in your mind?
Yeah, look, they're both massive fights in my mind. It's very hard to split them apart, but look, that Suncorp victory in a massive filled-out stadium in my hometown is a very difficult one to beat in my mind, just because of what it's worth to me as well. But it's always been a dream to come over to America and fight in one of these massive casinos in Las Vegas and put on a massive show. And this is going to be a massive fight as well, and nearly as equal as that fight with Pacquiao.
All right, great. Thank you very much for that. I wish you good luck on Saturday. And I do have a question for Bob. Bob, are you there?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Bob, this is a very significant fight in the welterweight division. As you know, it's a very stocked division. Could you just give me the Bob Arum overview of where you think the winner of the fight goes in this deep weight class, which has a lot of talented guys?
Yeah, I mean, the welterweight division, has, going back to the 80s, with Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns, was always a top division. It is now. There are a lot of great welterweights out there. Two of them are fighting on Saturday, and then there's Errol Spence, who's a terrific fighter, Thurman, Porter, and Garcia. And there's a guy that you should be looking at, too, who will be on the card. He's recovering from this incident where he was shot in the knee, but he's coming along really strong, Jose Benavidez, and he may be ready to fight the winner. We'll see. There's Carlos Adames, who fought on the May 12th card with Lomachenko and Linares and the co-feature, and he would be available to fight the winner. So we're not lacking for talent in the welterweight division. There's Kavaliauskas, the Lithuanian undefeated fighter, also. A lot of good welterweight fighters.
Bob, you didn't even mention Pacquiao.
There's Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, I know, right. Well, he's more of a politician now than he is a fighter, I guess.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in Vegas. Thank you for the time.
And your next question comes from Keith Iddick.
Yes, I have a question for Jeff and for Glenn, if they could both answer. Just wondering what you guys feel about the possible size advantage you might have over Terence, being that he's coming up from junior welterweight and you're more of a natural welterweight.
Yeah, sorry, you there? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear? Yeah. Personally, I don't believe that we will have, I'll answer first, this is Glenn Rushton, I'll answer first. I don't believe we'll have this huge size advantage that everybody's saying. I think we'll have a 1-inch height advantage. Naturally, Terence can't change his height, but I think we're going to be not surprised because I expect Terence to come in here equally as big as Jeff. What we will have, of course, is the advantage that we've been consistently fighting welterweights for, since we started, whereas for Terence, this is his first step up to here. So we are used to the strength of this division rather than have a huge size advantage going into the fight. So that's my opinion, is I think Terence will come in here, a lot bigger than a lot of people think, and I don't think there'll be a noticeable size advantage. But Jeff, of course, is incredibly strong. I'll let Jeff make his comment as well.
Yeah, look, I don't think there's going to be any advantage really in this fight, except for maybe if it lasts the later rounds, but the advantage might not be able to be seen. I've made this mistake once in the past where I fought a guy in the amateurs who was a one-weight division, a few kilos lighter than me, just as Terence Crawford was, and he put me on my butt a couple of times in that fight. And I said to myself, in the future, I'm never going to take any guy lightly just because he's one division below me, and that's the same with what Terence Crawford is here, and I'm going to be giving him the respect he deserves, but also I'll be fighting my fight, and I'll be out there to win it.
Obviously, in the last fight, you had, you fought in the fight against Pacquiao, I should say, you fought in your home country and everything. and there weren't any Australian judges. In this fight, of course, you have an Australian judge, but do you feel that you can win a decision in the United States against Crawford?
Yes, I feel like I should be able to win a decision in America if the judging's fairly and I'm throwing more punches and landing more punches. I guess the judges should be seeing that and scoring me the round. So I expect it to be fairly scored. Hopefully the judges aren't watching just Terence Crawford and they're watching me as well, because that can be the tricky part with judging is if you're trying to watch two guys, it's nearly impossible. You normally always got your eye on one guy and seeing what he's doing. So hopefully they're changing between me and Crawford and who they're watching.
Glenn, can you comment on that as well?
Yeah, I believe that we can get a decision. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I do believe that the judges all around the world are very good. I think the judges that we've got for the bout are incredibly competent, and I think they are very fair and they do their very best to arrive at an accurate decision round by round. So we certainly don't go into the fight expecting any problems with any of the officials. I do hope that Mr. Bird lets the fight flow. We would like to see the people want to see a great entertainment spectacle here. We don't want the fights being stopped every second just because the fighters get close. We'd like to see the fight flow freely, and I think if so, it's going to be an incredible spectacle on the night. But that's all we hope for, but we certainly are not expecting any problems whatsoever from any of the officials.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
And your next question is from Tony Boone.
Hey, Jeff, I was just wondering, a lot of fighters work so hard to get to that championship level, then find another gear after they become a champion. Can you kind of just tell me what the mindset has been for you since becoming a world champion and how maybe that differs from the guy who was fighting to get there?
Yeah, look, it's been definitely a hard road to get to where I am, and I've fought very hard and for very long, but the mindset's still the same because I'm coming in as an underdog again, even though I am a world champion. So I've still got that status about myself, and until I start winning these massive fights and proving myself to everyone around the world is when I can start thinking differently.
One other question, how difficult has it been to train for a guy like Crawford who's has the ability to switch the style of a fight by the stance that he shows within a fight at any moment?
Look, it has been difficult, but I suppose Crawford can fight in his style and change positions, which means it's a little bit easy that then trying to find, you've just got to get a southpaw and you've got to get orthodox people and you've got to just throw them in every round because that's what Crawford's going to be doing. He keeps switching stances all the time, and if we can throw orthodox and southpaws in sparring, so any type of fighter with any type of kind of skill, well not skill, but that style, that counter fighting, fast, moving style, then we kind of would bang the nail on the head.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
And your next question comes from Sean Cruz.
Hi, how are you, champ?
Good, thank you.
Good. I have a question for you. Terence Crawford is known to adjust his styles throughout the fight. How prepared are you to do that? For instance, if you do very well in the first few rounds, he's have to switch stances, he's have to make some adjustments. How have you prepared yourself for those adjustments? Should they come?
Look, I've just prepared myself my whole career with how our fighting style goes, and it's to fight in a way that the other guy doesn't know what you're doing. So I'm hoping he can't figure me out throughout this whole fight, and he goes, what have I come up against here? And hopefully he's still thinking in round 12 of what I'm going to do, and that's the plan, is just to keep changing things up. If he wants to try and adjust and figure out what I'm doing, I'll just keep changing it.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
And your next question comes from A.K. Reyes.
Yes, how you doing, Jeff and Glenn? This question for Jeff first, and then for Glenn. Jeff, not sure if you're active on social media, and and so on. But I want to know, though you're the champion, I'm pretty sure you're aware that you're a heavy underdog, especially here in this country. A lot of people are not giving you a shot at all in this fight, though you have, somewhat of a size advantage, and you're used to fighting welterweight. Has any of that gotten under your skin, so to speak, or are you going to use that as motivation? How are you feeling like with the temperature of the way things are as far as in terms of you being a heavy underdog?
Look, I'm not fazed by the underdog status. I know I've had that before in that Manny Pacquiao fight, and I managed to win that. It was similar odds to that fight. I've just got to not worry about the small stuff and just worry about what I've got to do in there, and that's just making a fight of this and being extremely competitive and winning. So, I've just got to just keep thinking along those lines.
And Glenn, a guy like Terence, it's hard to prepare for a guy like that switches, and not only switches, but is very, spontaneous in the ring with some of the things that he does. How do you guys prepare for this type of guy? I mean, it's hard to find a sparring partner that fights like Terence. So what was the main thing that you locked in on, to prepare for Terence Crawford?
Well, like anything, I study the fighter very, very deeply, and whilst he is extremely skillful, there are always things he's better at and things he's worse at. So naturally, we have to look at his weakest link or the chinks in his armour, and I'm not saying they're weaknesses, but compared to his strengths, there are little weaknesses there. So naturally, we'll target our strength towards his weaknesses, and at the end of the day, he's just a man. He can be beaten. He bleeds. He can be beaten. So he's a 5'8" man. It's not magical. It's just two fists. So the key is we just got to land Jeff's fists on his target more than he lands his on Jeff's. So we believe I've done the analysis in great detail. I believe every single thing about what he can and can't do. And at the end of the day, there's only so many things you can do with your hands and feet. And I'm very aware of everything that Terence has got. And I believe I've got the plan to beat Terence Crawford come Saturday night.
Thank you, Glenn and Jeff, and good luck on Saturday night.
Thank you very much.
And as a reminder, to ask any questions, press star 1. And your next question comes from Carlos Poro.
Hi, Jeff. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
So first of all, if you win on Saturday, would you kind of consider fighting some of the other champions at welterweight? I know Bob was talking about how there's so much talent at 147-pound division, and obviously he mentioned Errol Spence, who holds the IBF title, Garcia and Porter, who are going to fight for the WBC title, and Thurman, who holds the WBA title. Would you consider fighting any of those guys down the line?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I'm not in the sport for a long time, and I'm in it for a good time, and that's fighting all the champions out there that I can. And I've fought a lot of tough guys throughout my career, and why not keep that going and fighting the world champions and other champions that are out there at the moment.
And also another question, so obviously the fight against Pacquiao, over 50,000 coming in to see your fight in Australia. How did that win, fighting under that kind of pressure, with so many people watching, prepare you for another big pressure fight against a top fighter such as Crawford?
Look, that fight in a packed stadium at Suncorp was massive for me, I guess, mentally being able to fight in that situation, and I don't think you can get much better than that or bigger than that around the world. I suppose if you fight in another stadium you can, but I'm just saying that the pressure in that outdoor stadium feel is massive, and fighting it under those pressures was just priceless for all my future fights. And now I'm fighting at a massive casino in Las Vegas. I guess if I just don't think about I'm fighting in Las Vegas, I'm just fighting in a venue inside with all these lights and glam, then it's just like any other place.
I got one question for Bob Arum, if he's still around.
Yes.
So obviously, with this fight being on ESPN Plus, some people say that this fight should have been on ESPN television since Horn's fight against Pacquiao drew monster ratings and viewership unseen in the network. So what do you say to those people who kind of think that this fight shouldn't be on the app but more on ESPN television?
Well, you can't hold back the future. And the future is direct to consumer. The future is the ESPN Plus, where I would believe that in the next 10 to 20 years, everybody will be watching their entertainment on direct-to-consumer platforms like Netflix in entertainment. ESPN Plus will be delivering sports in abundance to fans now in the United States and eventually around the world. It is the future. Get used to it. Jeff Horn and Terence Crawford will go down in history as the two fighters whose fight pioneered this changeover to direct-to-consumer sports entertainment.
All right. Thank you so much, Bob, and best of luck next Saturday.
Thank you.
And our next question comes from John Gatling.
Yes, hi. Jeff, the question is for you. Going into the fight that you were preparing for Terence with in April, how disappointed were you that the fight didn't take place then, and did you doubt the validity of Terence Crawford's injury that delayed the fight?
Yeah, look, that it was frustrating at the time because I was in hard training for the fight for that date, and I think it was about 4 weeks or a few weeks out from the fight that it got cancelled, and it was kind of frustrating because then I knew I had to do all that hard preparation once again, and I didn't see any evidence that his hand was actually damaged or anything, so kind of like, well, was it, or is it just a tactic just to throw us off our game?
And so having said that, with the training camp that you went through with Pacquiao, I'm sure it was very difficult. If you could compare the training camp that you had in preparation for Terence Crawford, would you say it's been more difficult to prepare for Crawford than it was for Pacquiao? And do you plan to really press him with the idea that you're the bigger man?
Yeah, look, I only ever get trained for the fight preparation that I'm getting pushed for from Glenn, and he says he's only going to push me as hard as he needs to push me. And for that Pacquiao fight, I got pushed really hard, and I guess I learned from that preparation how to push my body to new levels. And this preparation for this fight is definitely the hardest I've pushed my body for any preparation I have before. So that's why I feel like I'm in super condition. I've had kind of 2 preparations on top of each other just for this one fight, and I'm ready to showcase those skills and that fitness for this bout.
Awesome. And just real quick, Glenn, I just wanted to ask you, you went on social media and you were talking about how Crawford was hurt by Gamboa, 135. That was a fight that took place several years ago. You still feel as if Jeff is strong enough to hurt Terence Crawford and stop him, since Gamboa was able to hit him with some shots that more than got his attention?
Absolutely. Jeff has got the power to hit not once but over and over and over. He's got such endurance that with Gamboa, we're all backed off him. Remember that Gamboa is featherweight too.
Thank you very much.
When Jeff hits you, he doesn't hit you once. It just keeps coming and coming and coming like a sideball. So, it will be very, very tough for Terence when Jeff hits him, and rest assured, Jeff will definitely hit him. As I said, we are in for a super fight come Saturday night, and I think America just needs to get behind this fight between these 2 unbeaten superpowers, and when they collide, I think we're going to see something special. Stylistic-wise, it's a brilliant matchup here. The slick, skillful skills of Crawford against a super tough, very unpredictable Jeff Horn. That's certainly that's a brilliant fight. This is boxing. This is what it's all about.
That's right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Glenn, and thank you, Jeff. That wraps up the Jeff Horn, Glenn Roshan portion of the conference call. And in 3 minutes or so, we will have Terence Crawford and his assistant trainer,
Evan,
Red Spikes on.
I had one more question for.
One more question.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. We one more question, sure.
And we have a follow-up from Keith Eidick.
Yes, my question is if Jeff and Glenn could both answer this as well. Were you guys surprised that Pacquiao didn't pursue the rematch more and try to get you back in the ring after losing that fight?
Well, yeah, I was surprised. Personally, I looked at it like this. We wanted the rematch, desperately wanted the rematch. The reason being is I wanted Jeff to be the only person to beat Manny Pacquiao twice, and I knew he would beat him. He'd grown immeasurably since that first fight, both in belief, physical condition, and I knew that Jeff would win that fight and most likely stop Pacquiao and certainly stop all of the people complaining about a bad decision. So, I wanted the fight. On the other hand, I felt for Manny Pacquiao, he is a legend, and if I was Manny Pacquiao's trainer, I'd have said, do not fight Jeff Horn again. You cannot beat him the second time. He'll be bigger, stronger, better. He's younger. You can't beat him. So, yes, we wanted the fight desperately for Jeff's career, but for the love of the sport and the love of the legend, I thought that Manny Pacquiao would be foolish to take the fight. Obviously, at the end of the day, his advisors felt the same way and said, no, don't fight Jeff Horn.
Jeff, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I felt like it was a tough first fight, and I do feel like I grew a lot from that. And I think Pacquiao and his people around him probably thought the same way, even though they don't think that they got the decision that they thought about the fight. We've had plenty of people watch it back again, and other people without the commentary, and they can see that I won the fight and won majority of the rounds. So there's no complaints there, and I think I'll do even better the second time against him. And I think he knows that as well, because I am the bigger and stronger the guy, and I've got the skills as well, which I showed in there against him to upset his style. And I don't think he wants to fight that type of fight again. And yeah.
Thank you, guys. Bob, are you still there?
Yes.
Bob, were you surprised also that Pacquiao wasn't more adamant about wanting this fight again?
Well, for whatever reason, he didn't want the fight again. I can't speculate at the reason. I mean, Glenn has said what he believes the reason is. Jeff said the same thing. Maybe it was the reason. Maybe there was something else. But I couldn't get him to commit to a rematch to Jeff Horn. Simple as that.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, if that I guess that takes us past the Jeff Horn portion of the
All
conference
right, thanks,
call.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, for that. And
Hello.
Should I hang on?
Yes,
sir.
And we're adding spikes now. And Terence.
All right, good. Okay.
Hello?
Hey.
Hello? Yeah.
Are we on?
Yes, I believe. Terence.
Yes.
And Red Spikes?
Yes, I'm here.
You can patch us through, Ed, and I'll start it.
Okay, they're all set. Terence and Red Spikes are on the phone.
Okay. Okay, everybody. We have Terence Crawford and his assistant trainer, Mr. Red Spikes, on the line right now. As mentioned, June 9th, Saturday night at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, live on ESPN live on ESPN Plus, 9:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Pacific Time. Bob, can you say a few words about Terence Crawford and the latest challenge in this wonderful career that he has fashioned for himself?
Well, Terence Crawford, in my mind, is the superstar in boxing. He dominated as a lightweight champion, won all the belts as a junior welterweight champion. Now he goes up and fights the welterweights. His first step is Jeff Horn, who is a big, strong welterweight from Australia. And Terence believes he's up for the challenge, and every challenge and obstacle that Terence has faced, he's overcome. He is, to my mind, one of the throwback fighters to the 80s. I really compare him to the great Sugar Ray Leonard, and I think that the skill and the artistry of Terence in the ring is something to see, and I look forward to his great performance on Saturday night against the tough, young welterweight in Jeff Horn.
And Terence, if you could just talk about how preparation has gone as you move up yet another weight class, 147. You don't have to cut as much weight, I'm sure, but if you could talk about just how preparation has gone for Jeff Horn.
Preparation being A1. You know, we had a tough training camp. We didn't take no shortcuts. We got a little stronger. You know, we just feeling good and ready to perform come Saturday.
Thank you, Terence. And Mr. Spikes, if you could, you've been with Terence for a very long time. Can you talk about his maturation as a fighter as he's moved up again from lightweight to junior welterweight now to welterweight?
It's just all the progression. It's ring experience, ring savviness, and just maturation as a professional. I don't think that you guys have seen the best of Terence Crawford yet. I mean, he has a lot of tools in the toolbox, and it'll be on display Saturday night.
Thank you, Red. And now we pass it along for some questions with Terence Crawford and Red Spikes.
And as a reminder, if you would like to ask a question, press star 1. And your first question is from John Gatling.
Terence, how you doing, champ?
Hey, how you doing?
Not bad. You've been inactive for a while. Seems like it's been a long time since you unified the super lightweight division. I know that you're anxious to get back into the fray. I asked Jeff earlier about the validity of your hand injury. He doubted it. There's been a lot of chatter going back and forth on social media and everything else. You have some strong words from him. How anxious are you to get in the ring and show Jeff Horn just exactly what Terence Crawford is all about?
I'm real anxious, but it's a process. You know, I'm more relaxed and focused than anything because the day gonna come. You know, I'm just sitting back ready for my moment come Saturday.
Any type of sparring or special sparring partners that you use in preparation for this fight, given that this is your welterweight debut? I know you saw what type of fighter he is, a really high-pressure, volume-punching fighter. Can you compare anyone to him that you've seen before in the past? And did you do anything specific in sparring in preparation for Jeff Horn?
Not at all. You know, like I said, we're going to make our adjustments in the ring. And he's nothing that I haven't faced before in the ring. Only thing we got to focus on is him coming in with his head and using his elbows. But other than that, it's another fight.
Business as usual. Thanks a lot, champ.
Thanks.
And the next question is from Chris Williams.
Hey, Terence, Chris Williams, C-Boxing Info. How you doing today, champ?
How you doing?
Good. First question I have for you. So, you're fighting on ESPN Plus. So, how do you feel fighting on ESPN Plus versus, an HBO or something like that? Does that affect you at all?
Well, not at all. ESPN, they got faith in me that, I'm going to be the next star and put me on this big platform that's going to take off here soon. And, what better way to start it off with putting one of the best fucking pound-for-pound fighters on there. So, I'm delightful to even be in this predicament right now. So, I'm just ready to go out there and fight.
Okay. And then my last question, you talk about being the next star. Terence Crawford from Nebraska is now facing Jeff Horn, the world-renowned Pacquiao killer. How important is this fight? What does this mean to your career going forward?
Oh, it means a lot. After I capture this WBO title, I'm going to be a three-weight titleist. I'm going to beat the man that beat Pacquiao, and my career is going to move forward.
All right. Thank you very much, Terence. Good luck.
Thanks.
And your next question comes from Keith Eidick.
Hey, Terence. I was asking Jeff about this earlier, and he seemed to feel that he won't have much of maybe a size or weight advantage in the ring when you guys get in the ring. I was just wondering what your perspective on that is and what you expect Saturday night.
I don't know. I never seen the guy. I haven't seen him personally. I don't know how much he hydrates to or whatnot, but, like I said before, it don't matter.
Do you have an idea of what you will come in at or not really yet because you haven't fought at that weight?
Yeah, not yet. I haven't, weighed in at 147 and hydrated back up to my natural fight weight, so I really don't know yet.
Terence, earlier this week they were kind of politicking already for Robert Byrd to quote unquote let the fight flow, whatever that means. But they seem to be wanting him to kind of allow Jeff to do some of the things that he's done in his previous fights. What is your perspective on that, and how do you expect him to kind of approach you in that way?
What he want Robert Byrd to let him headbutt and hold and hit and do all that extra stuff. I just laugh at it, I don't know. I don't care.
I don't know if you noticed, Terence, but he said that Jeff doesn't headbutt. That was an exact quote. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see the type of tactics that he used in the ring, but if so, then hey, that's his word on how his fighter fight. Then of course he's gonna back his fighter up with whatever his fighter is doing in the ring.
Terence, just one last question for you. In the Pacquiao fight, Manny seemed to allow Horn to do a lot of those things without really retaliating. That's not your nature, obviously. How important is it for you in the beginning of the fight to let him know that he's not going to get away with that kind of stuff against him?
All right, he'll find out come fight time.
Thanks a lot, Terence.
All right.
And your next question comes from Daniel Yanofsky.
Hey, Terence, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm not bad. I was just curious, being in a new division and all, what did you do differently to train, and especially since you haven't fought since August of 2017, anything different that you tried doing?
Not at all. We just sharpening up the tools and, getting our rounds in and getting back in the groove and, come fight night. It's going to be almost a year since I fought, but I feel like, it's not going to be a big factor. I feel like I'm sharp right now and I'm ready to go.
And anything that you would have to say that in that year that you might have done differently that you've never really done before?
Not at all, because even though I'm not fighting, I'm still doing something active, so I'm not just laying around sitting on the couch, so I should be good.
All right, perfect. Thanks. Good luck this Saturday.
Thank you.
And your next question comes from A.K. Reyes.
What's going on, bud? This is Ak.
Who's good with it?
You known to be a fighter that once guys outside the ring leading up to the fight pop a lot of smack, so to speak, like the Lundys, the Jeans of the world, that it almost seems like it makes it worse for those guys. Has Jeff Horn got you to that point, him and his trainer, where it might be talking a little too much smack, or are you feeling that same type of energy where I want to stop this guy, I want to punish this guy? Is that where your head is at right now?
Of course, no doubt. I'm just tired of hearing all their little excuses on gloves and the referee. It's just so much, and I'm just ready to go out there and shut them up.
Now, his trainer just alluded to the fact that when you fought Gamboa at 135, it seems that Gamboa was able to hurt you or stun you, in his opinion. So at 147, he definitely feels that Jeff Horn has the power to not only stun you but stop you. Can you give me your take on that statement?
Well, everybody keep resorting back to the Gamboa fight. If you look at the Gamboa fight, that was in 2014. I'm in 2018 right now, and they can't label a fighter that have hurt me the way that Gamboa hurt me. So I feel like I didn't grow in that fight. I was, a little arrogant in that fight, and he made me respect it. And I just felt like I didn't grow and learn from, that moment, and it haven't happened since. So if they're going to bank they shot on the Gamboa, then so be it.
All right, and once you do win that fight, I want to get you on that pool table in that suite. I know I can beat you in that.
Man, I already won one.
I'll show you. All right, good luck, bud, on Saturday, man. I'll see you out there.
All right, thanks.
And the next question comes from Sean Cruz.
Hi, champ. How are you?
What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Just have one quick question for you. Now, as you've steadily moved up in weight, have camps become easier for you? I remember back when you were training for, a junior lightweight, it could be a real hassle for you. And now that you're up to welterweight, has that made camp go easier, or is it just, is it still always the same no matter what weight you're in?
Yeah, it's always the same. Camp ain't never easy, If camp was ever easy, then your trainer's doing something wrong. You got to have that friction. You got to have them arguments. You got to have them days where your coaches is getting on your nerves and you don't want to do something and they just make you do it. And, so camp should never be easy.
Okay. Thank you very much. All the best Saturday night.
All right, thanks.
And the next question is from Leanne Perez.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey.
Hey. Real quick, I wanted to talk to you guys about, I guess if you guys want to let everybody know, I get to see it all the time. I actually didn't get to see you guys this training camp, but Manny went down there with the team, and you were able to buy a house down there. You want to talk about, how special Colorado Springs is for you, training camp, stuff like that. I get to see Red Snapchat all the time. It's a real family thing down there. Everybody has a good time, but you guys work real hard. Will you talk about, training camp in Colorado Springs and how special and what it means to you down there?
Training camp in Colorado Springs is real special, man. The atmosphere and the people and the oxygen level, just the whole thing around Colorado is good to us. You know, the people around there is so sweet and generous. I got family in Denver. It's peaceful. You know, you don't have a lot of people just running up to you and, you know, bothering you. You don't got to worry about any distractions. I bought a house this year, which I should have been bought a house out there, but, you know, I was being arrogant. But, yeah, it's a spot where, you know, I'll take my kids when I'm not even in training and just go on a vacation just to get away.
Okay. All right. Well, next time you're down there, you let me know. I'll come see you. I promise.
All right.
All right. Much love, Red.
All right.
And as a reminder, for any other questions, press star 1. And we have another question from Carlos Poro.
Hi, Terence. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
You know, obviously, you know, Saturday is your welterweight debut, and this is not your first time moving up in weight, and you've been very successful in making the transition from one division to another. Has there been anything that different that you've experienced moving up to welterweight compared to a couple of years ago when you first made the move up to junior welterweight?
Oh, not at all. You know, I feel like I'm in the same boat right now as when I was coming up in weight. You know, Thomas Delorme, he was a 147 pounder. He came down in weight to fight me for the title, you know, and everybody was saying, oh, this big strong puncher, and, you know, saying that I was too small for the weight class. And, you know, I was up for it, and I prevailed, and I feel like I'm in the same predicament as when I was moving up from 35 to 140.
You know, after unifying, you know, all 4 world titles at 140 pounds in your last fight, do you feel that you have maybe any extra pressure in this fight having to follow up that impressive win over Julius Ndongo last year, considering that this is, again, your welterweight debut and against a guy who beat Pacquiao less than a year ago?
No, I just got to get the victory. You know, I got to go in there and be focused and don't, you know, get overconfident and, you know, just do what I got to do to get the job done.
You know, and lastly, how frustrating was it to go through for the injury that kind of delayed the fight even for a little bit and sort of have to restart and resume camp?
Well, actually, I wasn't frustrated, man. Then I had an injury, so my thing is I'm going to go in there 100% healthy and not go in there with one hand and, you know, handicap myself.
Thanks, Terence. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
And your next question comes from Rick Muhammad.
Hey, what's up, champ? How you doing? Rick Muhammad, Brawler Sports
Hey.
Media. Sorry I missed you guys at camp, but I understand you had to pull out of there early that day, and I was all scheduled to come down there and get with you one-on-one. I just wanted to touch with you real quick. What can the fans expect different out of Terence Crawford right now, if you will, at 147 than what you've been preparing for those 140-pound guys?
Oh man, I'm gonna be stronger. I'm gonna be faster. You know, that's for one. My boxing ability and my boxing IQ is already there. I just think, you know, me being more stronger and ready for whatever is going to be the key factor.
Roger that. And then, so you didn't have a problem with packing the extra pounds in. You feel comfortable at 147, strong, and there's been nothing different about your body and your movement, your agility, performance, speed, or anything, huh?
Oh no, correct. You know, I feel my speed is still there. I feel like my power is there more. You know, and it's only going to keep getting. I'm only going to keep getting stronger and stronger as I grow into the division.
Right, and I understand what you were saying about you'd rather go in there with both hands at 110% than to go in there and half fight. You know what I mean? We learned that when Pacquiao came out of the fight with Mayweather, stating he had injured his rotator cuff, and nobody knew. So we didn't get the same performance or the show that everybody waited and was anticipating this fight to take place for like 5 years. So, I mean,
right.
I don't blame you for that, man. I used to work for Montel Griffin, and, you know, if you got an injury, you got an injury. That's what the fight fans don't understand, the behind-the-scenes things that go on.
Right. You know, I'm gonna be ready. So come Saturday, you know, I'm gonna answer all the questions.
There you go, and we're gonna wish you all the best of luck, champ, on Saturday night. And real quick before I let you go, I gotta ask you, your mom's name is Deborah, right?
Right.
So she named you Bud when you was a shorty. Where did she get the name to come up with to call you Bud?
I don't even know. That's something you're gonna have to ask her. I say, how you get Bud out of Terrence?
Yeah, everybody don't need to kiss and basketball and playing video games. That's your off time. So good luck, man, and get back to seeing. Seeing is important, and you know, enjoy your life, brother. One life to live. Real quick, what would your message be to the young black brothers and sisters out here with all that we're experiencing with racism and violence and seeing people being shot?
My thing is, you know, just stick to something positive and stay around positive people. And, you know, if you got dreams and goals out there, you know, pursue them and don't let nobody tell you you can't be what you want to be in life.
And your next question comes from Keith McMinnon.
I got this. Hey, good afternoon, champ. Quick question for you. Was wondering, because you seem like the type of guy who's got it together in and out of the ring, how much longer do we expect Terence Crawford to fight? Have you given any thought to like retirement or how long you want to continue to do this?
Yeah, I'm focusing on, you know, building my brand and building, you know, things outside of boxing, so I don't have to box. But right now, my life is boxing. You know, I can't think about retirement when I'm putting my whole foot and forth in boxing. So retirement ain't in my mind right now, and I'm thinking about, you know, being great right now.
Understood. Thank you.
And your next question comes from John Gatling.
Yeah, Terence, I just wanted to ask you again, after your last fight with Ndongo, you know, Teddy Atlas sat there and said that Vasco Lomachenko was his world #1 pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. You and Andre Ward kind of looked at him with the raised eyebrow. Having given that fight the back burner, and now looking forward to this, are you looking to win the WBO welterweight title and also defend the notion that you are the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world and send a statement to the likes of Errol Spence and Keith Thurman in the welterweight division?
Of course, it's always my goal to put on a great show. Putting on a great show and a great performance will keep me in the mentions of the top 1 or 2 pound for pound in the world. So my main focus is getting the job done right now. I don't care how I do it or the outcome. Just make sure I get the victory.
Absolutely. Good luck on Saturday night, Sam.
Hey, well, that will wrap it up for today. Thank you, champ. Thank you, Mr. Spikes, for being on the call with us today. And remember, Saturday night, MGM Grand Garden Arena, live on ESPN+. Tickets start at $50 and are available at AXS and all MGM Resorts box offices. So we hope to see you then, and hope you guys tune in, and we will see you Saturday night. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else